Okay, in the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna show you what it actually costs to build a large language model, as well as few days of looking at the hardware, electricity, and all the other costs behind it, and it's huge. This is basically almost full industrial operation. So I broke it into 4 parts, and I'm using 3 model sizes: 3 billion, 70 billion, and 405 billion parameters. So you can see which one is actually makes sense for your business. So before I start, just wanna make you to realize and ask yourself, how much money do you have now? Because I'm guessing probably what you're doing now is trying to make a software with AI and mostly LLM wrappers. Like you're using LLM as a brain, but you just remake it with different brand and function without any unique others value. And you call it yourself as a founder. This is what's happening in a LinkedIn, which is up to 69% in the US. But yeah, for sure, the fact is AI is not the only reason. Let's start with the hardware. So the first thing you need is a GPU. There are a lot of options, but the one everyone is buying right now is the NVIDIA H100. And one GPU already costs between $25,000 to $40,000. Now the amount that you need depends on the model sizes. 3 billion models is the smallest one here. So you only need probably just one H100 to run it. For 70 billion models needs a lot of more VRAM. So now you should have at least 2 GPUs. And with 405 billion, you need at 11 GPUs or more just to run the thing. But again, that's just the running the model. So you'll need the training as well, and completely different job. Because what you need is GPUs, the server nodes, fast networking, storage, RAM, and cooling. So for training, a small model can take anywhere from 8 to 32 GPUs. 70 billion model can take 256 to over 1,000 GPUs. And for a model like GPT-4, estimates go all the way up to 40 to 60,000 GPUs. And if you do the math, the GPU alone can reach around $1.5 billion. Because there's no single GPU in this world can hold a model like this big. That's why you need a multiple and even 1,000 to make it working together, like make it in one system. And then comes the electricity bill. So you have to realize the GPU requires electricity and run for 24/7. For smallest model running on the 32 GPUs, you're using about 20 to 400 watts. And if you're paying 10 cents per kilowatt hour, that's about $2.24 an hour. Which sounds small at first, but over a full month that runs 24/7, that becomes about $1,600. For hobbyists, it looks, it's pretty cool. Then you jump to the 70 billion parameters. Now you're dealing with more than 1,000 GPUs, and the electricity bill jumps to over $51,000 a month. And then you got the biggest model, which is 405 billion. And if you're running 60,000 GPUs, the power bill is roughly $3 million a month. And that doesn't even include cooling, so again, this is not a full data center bill. Anyway, moving on from electricity, let's talk about data. So models will need a lot of data. What you're really doing here is collecting and processing a lot of data text. Websites, articles, books, research papers, and this process is what people usually call a web crawl. But here's the problem. You can just scrape the whole internet for free. You need licensed data from other companies. Then you also need a real people doing labeling and verification, because the model doesn't automatically know what's helpful or what's wrong or what's unsafe. So now you're paying for the data, paying for the people, and then waiting months before the model is even usable, and the cost can cost you somewhere around 50 million and $150 million. That can take a month, sometimes even a full year before the model is ready for people to talk. Obviously, none of this happens without people. You still need engineers to build it, manage, and keep it running. So for smallest model, you might get away with small team of 4 to 7 people, then mostly ML engineers and data engineers, and payroll could be around $500,000 a year. Well, once you move up to 70 billion, the teams also gets bigger. Now you're looking at something like around 8 to 15 people, and payroll can already go above $1 million a year. And if you want to make a really big companies, you will need hundreds of people, like 300, 500, or maybe even more. So just look at the industry right now. Just give you an example of big companies. OpenAI has around 2,000 employees. Anthropic is already around 800 employees. So this is actually one of the biggest costs here. And those are just the main costs. There are still a lot of other expenses behind this. Probably you can find like renting, building, maintenance, operation, marketing, and everything else that comes with turning a model into real business. So what you should think is, do you gonna make money just to make your own LLM model? I don't know. We don't know yet. So yeah, building your own LLM is expensive, dude. Which is exactly why people keep talking about AI bubble. Because for a lot of companies, the cost has a huge difference with the amount of profit that they generate, but probably they will see this as a long invest. So if you enjoyed this, subscribe and like the video, and tell me in the comments, do you think this is a bubble or do you think it's gonna pop? What do you guys think? I'll see you guys in the next video.